All right, welcome to week 3 of the Coaches Show. I'm Cody Eustace, once again joined by head coach, now 2-0 head coach, Brent Holting, after coming off of a big 54-13 win last week at Hesston. Glad you had the time to come sit in with us, Coach, and looking forward to what's coming up Friday night, but want to dive into that Hesston game first, as always, and kind of go over some stats and recaps and get your thoughts on that. As I just mentioned, big 54-13 win in that game really came out early. We were just talking about it off air, setting the tone early, and really with the front five of the Greenback on that offensive line, translated also to the defensive line as well. But I thought the line play, like we talked about previously, really set the tone and got things going for some of the other guys that you see in the box scores.
Yeah, not just our line. You know, we always tell our line, you make 4 to 5 yard plays. Our backs block and make 40 to 50 yard plays. And I was really proud I've been really proud so far this year of, everyone across the board, not just our line, Arlie at tight end and Tay and Blake and Noah's had some good spots. I know he knows always want him to be more physical. But I think those guys have sold out blocking for each other and really blocked well for Max to have a big day the other day and for us to have a big day as a team.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Max Uni, another huge game, had a huge game week 1 against Larned, and then follows it right back up week 2, 302 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns. First in the state, all classes in both of those categories, all 3 categories, points scored, touchdowns, and yards rushing. I don't know. I would have to assume Travis Tice is the answer. But the last time Pratt's had a running back that has led all classes, I know it's only 2 games in, but still pretty impressive and, worth patting yourself on the back about if you're Max Uni and everyone else that it takes to accomplish that.
Yeah, and I think Max would tell you it's a team effort. I know he had the O-line and everybody over to his house for breakfast.
Feed them
on
boys.
Saturday morning, right? Which is good. Max knows that, and he would be the first guy to give them credit. And like I said, it's a team-wide effort. Jack at blocking back as well has done a really good job. When we can move the ball like we have, and anytime you can have any one person with over 500 yards in 2 games, you're running the ball pretty successfully, especially when everybody knows Max is going to be that guy for us. And for them to know it, but for us to be able to execute and block like we have for him says a lot about the other guys we have. I've told you off air a lot, this team is a lot of fun to coach because the egos are minimal. They just want to win. They just want to win. That's all they care about. And I think when you have that, and you don't care who gets the credit, good things happen. And that's what's happened for us so far.
You mentioned Max being the focal point of this offense, and we knew he would be coming into this season. Last year was a little bit different. You kind of had that 3-prong attack from Carson Hamey, right, Johnny Martinez, and Max Uni. Did you know that it was going to be this Max Uni focus coming into this, or were you hoping it would be, or is this kind of how it's worked itself out? Did you know that he was going to have this big of a start to start the season?
I don't know if you ever know, like I said,
yeah,
500 yards
pretty
in 2
big.
games, pretty big. I think I told you several times this summer and several people that Max looked really good.
Yeah, you did say that.
And Max has worked really hard. All credit to Max. We've been on him, and he would probably be the first guy to tell you, how hard I've been on him over the course of his career for the way I want him to run and what I want him to look for and how hard I want him to work in the weight room. Because a kid like Max has a ton of potential, and I know Max loves football, and Max has really, really started to try to reach that potential this year, so to speak. I think he's still got a long ways to go. But yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of him, really proud of our guys. I think as a collective whole, they've bought in and when you see success also, it drives you to get more success, and it just kind of feeds off of that. And we've had a good last couple years as a starter, and so these guys are hungry to carry it on.
You just mentioned, being hard on Max, and we were just talking a little bit off air. You'd also mentioned how egoless this team is, but how big of a factor is that, or how nice is it as a coach to be able to be hard on your best athlete or one of the best athletes, and him able to respond to it, and the rest of the team be able to see that? I mentioned that they used to always say that about Tom Brady, that Belichick would coach him just as hard as the other 52. As a head coach at the high school level, how valuable is that to know that you can get on Max when you need to, and he's not gonna shut down. He's gonna respond to it, and everyone else sees that and knows that, okay, if Max can take it, I better take it as well.
And I think there's a trust factor there, and I think Max knows. We've been through a lot together. I think it's huge, and the fact that we tell our kids all the time. I tell them all the time, like, we're hard on you. I know we're an intense coaching staff. I'm an intense guy, but we also tell you we love you a lot, and both of those things are true. We'll do anything for them off the field, but when we're on the field, our whole goal is to be the best that we can be. And sometimes that presents some times where it's not always fun when you're less than perfect. And Max knows a lot of times he'll do something, he'll run for a touchdown in practice, and I'll get on him because his footwork wasn't right, or he didn't read that block right. I don't care about the end result. I care about the process, and so I think they've done a good job of buying into that. And I think our kids as a whole have been very, very coachable. From where we've came, if you would have watched film on us at Pitt State camp in the beginning of June to now, and then I anticipate us to be even better by the end of this season. But we've came a long ways, and we continue to come a long ways every day because the kids come out with that attitude of wanting to get better.
And being as young a team as we are, that's very valuable to be able to be that coachable and see that coaching, from the senior level, junior level, down to the sophomore level, and them to be able to know that, all right, that's how we're going to get coached, and that's how you respond to it. On the defensive side of things, Friday night, defense under 100 yards allowed rushing, not total yards, but anytime you can hold a team under 100 yards on the ground as a defense, that's kind of always a feather in the hat for the defense. Speak a little bit on the defensive side performance of the Greenbacks.
And I thought our D-line was excellent. Again, I thought, Logan's really coming on there. Colin has been really, really steady. He just is always does the right thing. Adding Ethan into the mix really helped us. Brock gives us that, kind of key where we can go outside with him. We can go inside. He's such a big, strong kid and athletic. That I thought first drive of the game, that 4th and inches stop. You don't see high school teams stop a quarterback sneak on 4th and inches very, very often.
No, you couldn't see the Chiefs do it in the Super Bowl. This quarterback sneak is hard.
It is. Huddy too. He's a big old boy we put in there. So I was really proud of those guys. I thought they set the tone early with that. And then we were able to drive it down, score pretty quickly. Then we got a 3-and-out, scored again pretty quickly. And then it was on kind of. And I think defensively we're growing. I think run game wise, we've done a really good job the first 2 games.
Yeah, one of the things, sorry to cut you off. Yeah, one of the things that we noticed in the booth was just how well the linebackers were making tackles at the line of scrimmage or beyond. They weren't making tackles with the ball carrier coming to them. And we noticed that in the booth linebackers were making the reads and hitting the hole hard tonight and making that tackle for no gain or a loss. Max Uni, Jack Barker, those guys there, Gatlin, at that linebacker spot really had an impact on that game.
No doubt. I thought, Jack watched a lot of film last week and I was really proud of him. He was obviously one of the leads in the play. So he had a really, really busy week, but he's not getting enough time to watch film. We talk to them all the time about the more film you watch, the more prepared you are, the more you know what to do, the faster you can play. And I thought Jack particular played really, really fast on Friday night. He got downhill. He did a great job with the reads. I think he had a sack and a half. And he made impact plays. I remember my dad always used to tell me, like, yeah, any linebacker can make plays 8 yards down the field. That doesn't do any good. They're still moving the chains. Like, make impact plays at the line of scrimmage or behind it. And I thought our linebackers, Caden, all of them, Tay, did a good job of that. I thought they were much more aggressive. We're still working on it, but I thought they did a way better job of reading week 2 than week 1. There was a lot of improvement there, and hopefully they get even better this week.
Yeah, and it was noticeable. And like I said, it showed up in the stat sheet there, keeping Hesston, out from reaching that 100-yard mark on the ground. We didn't get out of that game unscathed. I was going to touch on Creston Poor goes down before halftime, coming off the field. Kelly and I in the booth were, God, that looks like shoulder or collarbone. You could tell he was in some pain. And from what we've heard, it has been confirmed, prognosis not great for the outlook this season.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because talk about a kid who's came a long ways and was really starting to play good football. I thought he played excellent the other night in his minutes. Really proud of how he was playing as a sophomore, stepping up, reading, learning, getting more aggressive. I thought Creston was just playing excellent. So we were pretty sad to see that. Yeah, he has a grade 3 clavicle separation. We don't know yet whether he's going to have surgery or not, but unfortunately, like I told him, like Grayson and before him is now you're a coach on the sideline. Your role in practice is to watch, to instruct, to help, pick people up, be a great leader. And that has a huge impact on the team. Grayson does a great job of that as well. And so, yeah, unfortunately, fortunately for us, we had 2 more years of him. It stinks that his year was cut short this year because he'd worked really, really hard, and he was playing really, really well.
Yeah, he was playing great football and fun to watch. Like you said, he was going to be fun to watch all season, but 2 more years out of Creston-Poor will be fun to watch. That win puts us at 2-0 for the season. I know Coach Talk, if I ask you, what's that mean being 2-0? I know, you're going to say it doesn't mean anything, but it also doesn't mean nothing.
Right.
So what do you allow it to mean as a coach, starting the season off 2-0?
2-0 in the league, and I think more importantly, it's a mentality thing. That's what I was really proud of. Our kids, Hesston, we have the worst record against them than we have any league team, any team really that we've played more than 10 times. We beat them the last 3 years, but before that, we'd only beat them once in our school history. So now obviously we haven't played them 70 times like some teams, but we played them over 10. So they'd kind of been that team that kind of really given us fits. And I was really proud of our kids. I think, there's that fear factor sometimes a little bit like, man, we don't ever beat this team, and you get in your head. Our kids came out and they've done that the last 2 years. And this year I thought was really dominant. We came out and put our foot in their throat from the beginning. We had a little snafu there, obviously a couple turnovers at the end of the first half, beginning of second half. But other than that, our kids played fantastic. They kept their foot on the pedal. And I think that anytime that confidence, you never want to get too confident to where you don't have to work hard, but that confidence that you can succeed when stuff gets hard and when you're playing a good team, because they're a good football team. They're going to win games. If you watch them athletically and see how big they are, they are a good-looking football team. I think that confidence carries over when you get in the latter part of the season. We know our schedule is really tough. Yeah,
and we're going to be getting into the meat of that schedule here coming up in the next couple of weeks. Before we get to Halstead and the tail of the tape here, what were the awards handed out for last week and heading into this week? I don't know if we matched you. We had us in the booth. We not really a funny story, but I'll give you. Max Uni was our player of the game. We just didn't have anybody to take it, and we said, hey, your guys' motto this year is come and get it.
Right.
So I think Max has that belt of player of the game so far with the attitude of come and get it. Someone else is going to have to come and get that player of the game award. And our hit of the game, to be honest, we really didn't see one. It was Tay Wilson's birthday, so we threw one at him. So I'm hoping he had one. We were like, at the end of the game, we were like, we didn't see a standout hit somewhere. So Tay Wilson got our hit of the game. I'm not sure if he had one or not. I'm hoping he did.
We're going to have to talk to the guys about that. When we can't see a hit, we got to hit more. And no, we have been on them to be more aggressive that side. We actually started splitting it up. I thought just because we started doing an offensive and defensive player of the week. Offensively, we gave it to our entire O-line.
Well deserving.
I thought they were excellent. Like, I told Max, I said, yeah, you got the opportunities, No, Max had a great game. Nothing to take away from me. Got a week 1, but I thought our O-line just deserves some love because they've been incredible so far this year.
Yeah, none of that happens without them.
Right. I thought they were great. We thought defensively, Blake Windsor played a fantastic game. We switched him over to Jackson Fry the second half when we were having problems. After that, Jackson, I don't think had another catch. We started moving him over with him. So Blake has just grown leaps and bounds in his confidence and the way he approaches things. Talk about a kid that's getting better and better and better every week. Blake Windsor fits the bill. Thought first varsity game, we thought Andy did a pretty good job of kicking.
He did a very good job.
First varsity game, in that pressure he got in, he helped on a tackle on the sideline. So I thought Andy did a great job there for his first varsity game kicking. And then scout team player of the week was Kyler Barker. And Kyler's a kid who, he never comes off the field, and you appreciate that as a coach in practice, especially at positions he played. He's the guy he's taking a lot of fire. It's not fun getting hit by Tay Wilson and Max Uni and Hudson Rector and Brock Bourgeois and all those guys all practice. And Kyler does it willingly. He loves football. He's a competitor. I don't know if you were there. It was awesome. Give a shout out. I think Hesston's beat us the last 3 years, and I know the last 2 for the league title in junior high.
That freshman class has been a great rivalry to watch.
And we scored with 1:50 left on Monday night to beat them 18-17. Kyler hooked up, and we had tons of injuries there. Levi Tebow was out injured. We had a lot of guys. Caleb Strong didn't play most of the game, came back, game on the line, 4th down, said, I think I can make this catch. He got his hand, it was pretty swollen, skinned up. We ran a play, got him out in the corner, and Kyler threw a nice ball. He caught it, scored the winning touchdown. I thought that was huge, you know, considering the fact that they beat us the last few years in junior high, especially considering, you know, we have 6 or 7 sophomores not playing JV because they play so much varsity. We're really young there. You know, so we're mostly freshmen at that level. I was really, really proud of those guys. And Kyler's been excellent. You know, he's been a kid that's really came into the program, ton of confidence if you know Kyler, and he plays his butt off every day. So once again, could have picked several people on that scout team. Our scout team's been really good this year, but thought he deserved it.
Well, congrats to him. The minutes he's gotten in on varsity, you know, both weeks he's gotten some varsity minutes, and you can tell he runs the ball hard and is going to be a good asset to the program in the next 4 years, you know, as he just continues to progress. Before we get to Halstead here, we did get some fan questions of the weeks submitted.
He's always scary.
If you're watching or listening, I usually put something out there on Instagram where you can submit a question, or Facebook. They're not too scary. None from the usual crowd here.
None from
we do have one from the old sidekick, old voice of the Greenbacks, Austin McNorton, sent us one, and he said, when you know every opponent is keying on Max, how do you get creative on offense? And I'm sure Austin knows you're probably not going to give us a straight answer on that on air.
Austin knows better than that. Execution.
There you go.
No, I think we got some guys stepping up. You know, Owen Blake been good running the ball. Tay's been good. You know, we've always talked about how this offense is kind of if they're going to give us something, we're going to take it until they shut it off. Then we'll take something else. We feel like we're pretty multifaceted and like that. And you know, they've given Max the edge the last few games, and we've taken advantage of it. We anticipate that they're probably going to load up somewhere there, and hopefully we have a good answer for it.
All right, there you go, Austin. You got your answer. All right, this one in from Scott Simon, older brother of Kelly Simon, our wingman in the booth, class of 98. Back in our day, there was always the tradition, I say back in our day, back in the old Greenback days, the Greenbacks used to always enter from the southwest gate there of Zerger Field. Scott wanted to know, will the Greenbacks ever make an entrance from that gate again?
Well, you know, if I got my wish, you know, they're going to block down 4th Street. I told him my pie in the sky wish idea is maybe we can fundraise enough for an indoor facility with new locker rooms there.
Wow, you have big wishes.
Yeah, big wishes.
Wow, I guess if you're going to wish big.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I say. It's up there. You know, if you're going to dream big.
You know, I say you can't put a price on fun, but there probably is a price tag on that.
There probably is, but nothing that, you know, people like you know, legends that can't, you know, cover.
There you go. You set me up on a good monthly payment plan, and we can talk.
It may be a little bit higher on a monthly plan.
Okay.
No, I don't know. We don't lock her there.
That's the thing. That's where we used to lock her, right across from the corner there.
Right.
Come out the old locker room entrance and always come
now, did they
out
use
under the trees. And
which end did you warm up on?
we warmed up on that end zone there. I believe, like I told you earlier,
see,
my
we
high
warm
school
up on
memory
the
is
other one
faded
because we come out.
Yeah.
The other one. So I don't know that there's any plans right now. I obviously, I learn new stuff every year about Pratt traditions. I didn't even know they used to go out there. I could guess that because the locker rooms were there, but unfortunately right now those are shut off completely.
With the remodel,
remodeling. So
Yeah, again, another one of those old traditions. All right, this one from Tiffany Riley, and this one, I don't know if this was for you or for me, but we did do some homework. She wanted to know, she said that she got asked where some of the chants come from in our fight songs that the students cheer and that the band cheers, the Oski Wawa. I'm assuming that's what Tiffany was asking, was the Oski Wawa. And so I did a little research today, and I didn't know the answer to it. I was kind of interested with what I found out was that our loyalty song, again, this is all just internet fact finding, was originally the University of Illinois loyalty song. It was written in 1906 for the University of Illinois, and I'll see if I can get the words of it on screen here for anybody watching, but they are identical to the Pratt High fight song with just changes of the colors. We're loyal to you instead of Illinois. Really? It's the Greenbacks, even the Gainst the best in the land. So I didn't know that. It's even got the Oski Wawa in there and the Chi-Ha, Chi-Ha-Ha. So that song in the University of Illinois loyalty song. And so they must have copyrighted that. And I believe it's still Illinois' fight song. So
that's interesting.
So interesting. If I'm wrong, I'd love to someone fact check me out there.
Kelly here
exactly. We need Kelly, the historian here. He probably could have spent more time fact checking that than I did. So Fun fact, though, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I did not at all.
So, all right, tail of the tape. We're going to get to Halstead now coming up Friday night. Exciting matchup. Like you had mentioned before, we've only met 9 times in the past. Pratt, a losing record again. You mentioned it against Hesston, but a 4-5 record against Halstead all time. First met in 2010. The longest winning streak of that short-lived history. Halstead had a 4-game streak from 2010 to 2013. Largest margin of victory goes to the Greenbacks, and that would have been last year, that 40-7 score that we put up last year. Current record, Pratt's 2-0 against Halstead's 1-1 record. They had a big win over Smoky Valley week 1 and then dropped last week's game to Hoisington, who we'll see on the schedule as well. In that matchup, Pratt holds 4 CKL titles to Halstead's 2, and if you're comparing school sizes, enrollment, they're about 120 enrollment-wise under Pratt. They are 2A, we're 3A. We're at about 366, and looks like they're at 240 for enrollment. So a little bit different sizes in schools there, but a pretty even matchup. Like we had mentioned earlier, heading into this game. Thoughts on heading into this Halstead game? I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but it's a big game. It's a big league game. I don't know which Halstead you think you're going to get, the Smoky Valley Halstead or the Hoisington Halstead, or a combination of both.
And I don't know if so much Halstead played bad against Hoisington. Hoisington is just that good. They're one of the contenders in 2A for a reason. They're really big, really physical, really good football team. And Halstead's a good football team. They're good sized up front, and they play really hard. Coach Ray Sett's done a good job of, it's his second year there of setting expectations and what he wants. And their kids, that's the thing that kind of flies off the tape at you. They play really, really hard every play. Their quarterback, the Creed kid's very accurate, very mobile, gets outside the pocket. He's really scary with the ball in his hands in open field, and he throws very accurately. He's a very accurate passer. They've done a lot more in the passing game this year than they did last year. So it's always scary when you have to guard both all the time and be vigilant all the time. There'll be a really good football team that we're going to have to play well, play fundamentally sound, and I think get better and better, especially pass coverage wise, to be able to get to where we want to go.
Now, that pass coverage is such a hard element at the high school level. That when I always say the advantage always goes to the offense. When you've got a quarterback and wide receiver that know where they're going and know where they want to put the ball, unless you've got an elite defender out there guarding that receiver, it's a tough task to ask a high school kid to try to cover one-on-one coverage. So a lot of help over the top or whatever it takes. We saw that a little bit Friday night against Hesston. That was there for them a few times. Just a hard thing to do, to cover that deep ball when you've got players on the other side that can execute it.
And the big thing is we got to do a better job of not letting our quarterbacks break contain, get outside the pocket. When they break contain, get outside the pocket, then it really stresses you because you're seeing them. Do I come up if they're going to run? Do I stay back? That's a really hard thing to judge. And so I feel like if we keep them in the pocket, we can have a lot more success, because then you can kind of dictate everything. The throws are longer when you keep them in the pocket. They're at different angles instead of straight ahead, if there's a flood, whatever. So anytime we can keep the quarterback in the pocket, we feel better about that, make him step up there and collapse the pocket. So that's one thing we're really working on, trying to get better on this week, is keeping them to where they can't roll so easily. I thought the Friesen kid, which he's a great athlete, got outside of us a little too much last week. That was one of the things we didn't do very well. So hopefully you do that. And then the best pass defense is a pass rush. Is getting to the quarterback quick, making him make quick decisions. I don't care who it is. You have to defend too long, and you're going to lose someone after a while.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a big game. Before we get out of here, speak on finally getting the home game. Been 2 games on the road here. Now we get to come back to the fabled Zerger Field Friday night, and I know the home crowd is going to come out strong. They travel well. This time we finally get that first home game, and then got 2 more after that. So a 3-game home stretch. But how fun and excited are you and the kids and the coaching staff just to finally be back home on Zerger Field and kind of, under the Friday night lights of what's going to be some great football weather, it's looking like.
Yeah, and I know I'm very biased, as we all are, but to me there's nothing like Zerger Field on a Friday night. It's an awesome atmosphere for a game. I always listen, you just want to catch things, whatever. So I'm watching film on Saturday morning, and I listen to the Swather Sports Network. I just set it on the side and played their their audio, their commentary. As I was watching film, just to hear what they had to say about if we're doing anything, if they something they mentioned that they caught, we need to be aware of. And what was cool was they kept mentioning, shout out to our kids, just how loud their student section was right by them, and you could hear our student section from across the way.
Oh, that's
they were
neat.
louder, and they kept mentioning it on the radio. Just man, how awesome and how well Pratt travels and how loud their crowd was. And so we know it's going to be even better at home. We know this community is second to none when it comes to sports. So our kids are excited to get out there and, run out under the lights at Zerger Field on Friday night and have a good time.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. 7 o'clock kickoff Friday night here at home, Zerger Field. Pratt will take on Halstead as they sit 2-0 right now, try to improve that record. Get down there. If you can't make it, we'll be on the radio, 98.3 My Country, or you can download the app. You can find us. This one will be on the Greenback Athletics YouTube page. Our broadcast will be on top of that. So a lot of different ways to watch this game or listen to this game, but nothing beats being there in person. So if you can get out to the field, get down there, support your Greenbacks. Coach Holton, good luck Friday night. Appreciate it. And we'll see you Friday night.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks. All right, a big thank you to Coach Holting for coming in for the Coaches Show. As always, now time to get to the Greenback wrap-up and what was going on around this week. Since last Friday's football game, that's kind of my time frame for doing these, is what's happened since last Friday's football game. Since then, we had mentioned cross country was going to be at Wellington Saturday. They ran and had a great day there. Individual medalists for the boys team were Nathaniel Chavez placing 3rd and Carlito Laura placing 12th. For the girls, Cam Ducey placed 15th. Grace May placed 22nd, and Allie Hamey placed 25th on the side of cross country. So congratulations to the runners there. The Greenbacks were set to have golf on Monday. That got moved to Wednesday and due to the rain. And again, the Greenback golf team 3 for 3 this season on team championships. They won their home tournament out at Park Hills. And once again, Avery Blasey was the individual champion, shooting a 41. Tessa Schmidt tied for 3rd with a 46. Aniston Teasley, 5th place with a 48. Hayden Riffey tied for 8th. Raiden Crow tied for 17th. Sage Coleman tied for 17th as well. Avalee Washington, Caitlin Vega, and Lauren Franklin also scored there. So again, a great start for the Pratt High girls golf as they've played in 3 tournaments now, taken first in all of those. Also, last Saturday action was the Greenback Tennis Invitational here at the Walter Blake Tennis Complex. They had a great day down there as they finished 2nd place as a team in number 1 singles. Bailey Jackson took 1st place in 2 singles. Her sister Kate Jackson finished 2nd place in number 1 doubles. Wendy Kendia and Hope Hughes placed 2nd place. And in 2 doubles, Sydney Riley and Kimarla Thompson finished 3rd. So a great job for the tennis team. Volleyball went up to Hoisington Tuesday night, and they finished 1-1 on the night. They dropped their first match to Hoisington and then followed it up with a win against Larned. So good night for the girl volleyball team. That does it on the sports side of things, but I also wanted to touch on, if you're going to the game Friday night, or if you're not going to be able to make it, I wanted to touch on this. The Greenbacks are starting a Greenback Legacy Honoree Award, and the first member to be the recipient of this award will be recognized after the first quarter of the game Friday night, and this person is a friend of our family, a great family here, and everybody around Pratt probably has seen this person, whether it be at a ball game or out driving around on the streets. The first person to receive this Greenback Legacy honor is Jeremy Brigham. Jeremy Brigham has been a loyal supporter of the Greenbacks for over 30 years, and you can usually see him at a football game, basketball game, driving his golf cart around town with his dog. Jeremy's passion for Greenback football and his grit in coming to the games is an inspiration to all Greenbacks. So I wanted to give a big shout out to Jeremy. I know he's got a lot of family coming in town for that, and that should be a really neat occasion. So if you can't make it to the game, next time you see Jeremy out and around town, tell him congratulations on that, because he doesn't miss a Greenback event very often, and that's greatly appreciated. That's going to do it for the Greenback wrap-up. Tune in next week for next week's Coaches Show.